Good evening, everybody. We are just about 6 p.m. Good to go. Happy days. Aaron, good to see you on. Your package arrived, and thank you very much. That was very sweet. Thank you. Just in time for my birthday. There's only one left. We already nailed one with some coffee earlier. Hi, Janelle. Hi, Alex. Nice to see you all on. Hi, Rosa. I've got a bit of a mindset video mindset session planned for tonight. Um, so I've got the dynamic edge or origins or DT2 or DWL3 or however you know it. That's what we've got visible. In case we make this one public, that's what I've got visible. I'm obviously not going to share our pod or any of the better strategies with everybody. But it's nice to see you all on. Thanks for joining me. It is 6 p.m., so we will dive in. Very philosophical, this one, really. That's what it is. You all know, or by now you should all know, that I'm always trying to, or at least I'm open to, learning something new. Well, holidays this year were no different. Yeah, we got one, we legged it, we went off to the sun, my little girl and I, and of course we had to bring our Kasha, didn't we? Well, you know what I mean, she's going to come anyway. Oh, that's foot in me mouth kind of stuff. We had a good holiday, a good family holiday. We had a bloody laugh, we did. Now, Yoda, Mr. Bean, Forrest Gump, all names I use as a reference for traders to compare character, if you like, and relate ideals, if that's maybe the right way to communicate those ideas. For sure, their quotes ring true, hey. For instance, do not, there is no try. Yoda, and I say it myself about trading. That's why I bought that watch that time. Bruce Lee, knowing is not enough, one must apply. And of course, the inimitable Gump, life's like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. And how about this one? Trading is like an all you can eat buffet on holiday. That's James Leone. 29 to the 8th, 1802 hours. That's my quote. Trading is like an all-you-can-eat buffet on holiday. Where I went, there was an all-you-can-eat buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I thought, oh, this could go very bad. And you're all thinking, how so? How is trading like an all-you-can-eat buffet? Well, it's great if you can select only what you most want and most need in order to enjoy and satisfy your needs. Like, as we look here, we've all discussed many times the 3 minute and the 1 minute going together. Well, beautiful, that's exactly what we want. And if we look there, 1740-ish, 1740-ish, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the time frames going together. We could scroll back to pre-1700, 3 minutes gone, 1 minute's gone, two time frames going together. It equals pips, as does patience. Patience equals pips. Now, if you at the buffet take some of everything, seconds perhaps, thirds, can you refrain from eating your body weight in food 3 times per day and consuming enough alcohol perhaps to drown a navy? It seems to me there was a lot of waste at many of the tables around us. I insisted to my little girl, if you put it on your plate, you eat it. Don't put stuff on the plate that you're not going to eat. If you want more, by all means, go back and get some more. But if you're not going to eat it, please don't put it on your plate. And I believe I set a good example. In fairness, nobody has ever accused me of wasting the time of a chef or a barman. Because if it's on my plate, I'm going to eat it. If I don't think I'll eat it, I won't put it on my plate. That's the reality of who I am, a realist. Yeah, so there was a lot of plates full of waste, I thought, at some of those tables. People with eyes too big for their belly. People who will trade anything that half looks like a signal. Now, I received some screenshots and received some messages, but there was divergence and there was this signal and it looked so brilliant. And I looked at the 1 minute next to the 3 minute, but there's no trend. What are you doing? There's no trend. It's not only us that can be guilty of non-committal to a trend, but the chart may not have committed to a trend. And so we should be drawn in to a fakie? I don't think so. This dish looks ever so tasty, sir. Would you like to try some more? No, thank you. I want to go home in the same size trousers I arrived in. Bugger off. We'll eat what we need. We'll trade what are the highest probabilities, and we'll wait for those because they are indeed worth waiting for. That's the deal. That's the sensible, the correct deal. It seems to me many leave for home several kilos, several pounds, a couple of stone heavier than was ideal when they arrived. A price to pay there is, or there will be. You pay for that with your health. You pay for leaping in like I don't know what on these charts with your pips. Your pips are your profit. And you can see them vanishing before your eyes if you're going to be such a numpty as to believe every single trade or every single signal on there is going to be brilliant. You have to trade what you see, and we evaluate what we see. That's what we do. We evaluate it. So we wander along the buffet selection and we evaluate. That looks delicious, but it looks far too much for me, and I've already had some of that. So do I want more? That trade looks perfect. It's continuation. The bands are closing in. You look and you evaluate. When we evaluated this one, if of course you were at the chart at the time of this one, 1 minute, 3 minutes going together, following a pivot off a higher time frame or a higher value EMA, following a level of bullish divergence, higher lows, lower lows. So we've got divergence, rejection of a line, and a signal that is accompanied by the higher time frame. Pips is what it is. And if you'd have gone in, you'd have been gone in somewhere around here. Let's say it's around 12.5 for my feeble rounding brain. Let's be a bit more conservative and say 12.510. Well, where are we now? We're around about 12.560. So however you look at this, it was a 50 pip trade. And if you follow the gates system, that was a gate. And it's important that I say that was a gate, because we can indeed measure and know what it is we need on our trading table. Then we really can, or we perhaps should stop. It is time. Take the gate, walk away, shut down and walk away. I know for a fact there are many members of our group who are guilty of having taken a gate in the first hour or so of the morning, but then think, I'll be bored if I leave the charts now. I think I'll stay here and carry on. But there's been a remarkably good move, and after a remarkably good move, we very often see. So we should anticipate a period of range, a period of chop, a period, excuse me, a period of consolidation perhaps. Notwithstanding it's consolidating, people leap into sells, to buys, to, oh, I shouldn't have bought it, I should have sold it, oh, I shouldn't have sold it, I should buy it. And they go in and out, left, right and centre, without thinking about the consequences and without realising that that's their profits. They're hard earned. Well, they're sensibly, because it's not hard, is it? Let's face it. But they're sensibly earned profits. They just whittle them away again because, well, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. I can sit here from midnight till 9 p.m. the next day. 21 hours of trading, and the only gap is between 9 p.m. and midnight UK GMT time. And the reason for that gap, the sun's over the Pacific, and there's very few islands in there. The sun has to get to the east again, to Japan, to Tokyo, to Australia, to hit those Eastern Asian, we call them, don't we, the Asian markets, before there is any volume again. So between 9 a.m. and midnight is your only real downtime. Excuse me. I do seem to have a wee cough. Nothing serious. So yes, there'll be a price to pay with your health if you take the all-you-can-eat buffet and eat your own body weight in food 3 times a day. Do you have to? No, you really don't have to. If you don't know the specific things you're looking for on the charts, and I have said this before, I won't apologize, and perhaps you may not have created a sensible money management system, then you will be exposed to emotional trading. And the reason I say it that way is because we know those specific things to look for. We know about our daily trading plan, which includes a target for the day. If you've hit your target, what you still doing here? Dude, what's your problem? You filled your plate. Isn't your belly full? Don't you realize you've got enough? Walk away. Play safe. Play sensible. Live to play another day without the heart attack. Stick to the plan. That's the one. A man without a plan is planning to fail. Well said, Dave. I like that. Nice one. So, yeah, you'll be exposed to emotional trading. I assure you that won't end well. I've heard it all. I've heard it from many. I've heard it from different people, men, women, old, young. I've heard it all. The emotional stuff, it don't end well. So before you pull the trigger, ask yourself these important questions, and until you can answer them truthfully and fairly, in the same accounting principle as true and fair, you're gambling if you can't answer them truthfully and fairly. Question 1: where is the trend on a higher time frame? Well, clearly, a glance here shows us that as at now, white is above pink is above purple, having had a pullback. Pink is above purple. We're in a short-term uptrend. We're happy with that. We'll be happy to take the longs, won't we? We should be. Question 2: any signs of support or resistance here or there, or on the higher time frame still, like the daily and the 4-hourly? Oh look, children, there was major league support around 12.4, and we're struggling to break down below that. So we need a breakout above S2, above R1 on the 4-hour, a breakout above this high test bar to tell us that the fractal and the rejection have chance. Otherwise, we're looking at potential for a MACD scalper pattern, and you that are mine, you all know what that is. Question 3: what is my entry/exit strategy? Do I know where, how, and why I'm getting in? Do I know where, how, and why I'll be getting out? Assumed I'm getting out, if I'm getting out, or am I letting it run? And question 4: what is my maximum risk if I should indeed enter this trade? Well, if you haven't been trading today and you haven't hit your target yet, then okay, there might be a reason. But if you've already hit your targets for the day, why are you still here? If you've already earned what you're supposed to be earning, if you're using the gate system and you're using it properly, what you doing? Are you over trading? If you can't apply the true and fair principle to all of those questions, you are gambling. Just don't. Sure, Dave, question when you have a moment. Will in a moment. There is a self-imposed pressure to trade. It's why you're there, and you'll never feel like a winner if you don't have winning trades. Firstly, the difference between winning and losing is often tiny. You need tiny really win to beat the market. One 10-pip trade twice a week beats the market. People have all sorts of fears around this, usually FOMO, because patience has a FOMO cost, or excitement waiting for a trade. It's miserable sometimes. The irony is that patience is how you win. Every trade carries the same risk, but not the same probability. If you learn to simply wait for the high probability trades, how would this change your world? Trading is energy. Energy, everything is energy, and every trade has an energy cost. So trade less, but better. SOS, remember? Slower, older, smarter. Not the first time we've used that sentence or that what's called acronym, SOS. Slower, older, smarter. It makes great sense to trade with that principle in mind. There you go, Dave. All yours for a question. There you go,
Yes.
Mark. Nice
Okay.
one.
Great training so far. So my question would be just in regards to the gates and when to know when you're done. Like, so for today, like I had a trade window, trading at a certain time of day. So say if you hit three gates and you have plenty of time left in your trade window, like I've had a really good day today. I've hit three different gates.
Okay.
When do you walk away? Like when the time runs out or when you hit a gate, what would be your recommendation for newer or less
For
experienced?
newer traders, I'd say if you've done that well, take a break. On the other hand, when it's raining golden coins, we don't just put out a wheelie bin, do we? We hire a skip. So what I would suggest is, instead of closing out the trades, you all know the way I trade. I won't close the trade. I'll drag the stop loss up and I'll move the target with it. So perhaps it's worth you locking in and deleting the target and just letting it run on a day where it's trending. For instance, if we look at the long range there, if we had sold somewhere up here where it rejected our 987, if we know we had reasons to sell up around 13190. If we'd sold there and locked in, indeed this one would have been worth letting run for the full, nearly 700 pips. It would. I would suggest you be out now once we broke the 500, but that would be 700 pips. Those are the ones you can just let run. Delete the targets, lock in, and let it run and forget about it. But then you're not placing any new trades. You're just letting one run. Yeah, that's the real. What is it they say? What's that? What's that type of income? I don't like it. It's called something. Trying to think of it. What's the name for when residual income? Is it
Residual, passive.
residual? That's it. There's not many ways of getting that. One of them is bottom wiping bad. It's that MLM type thing. I'm not a big fan of that. But that's one way of getting a residual income. You've set it, you've locked in. Forget about it. Let it do its thing. That's real residual. Sound fair?
So I had some trades go through. Yeah, as I said, I had a great day. So basically, once you hit a few gates in a day, you would just not put any new trades in and just close what you have out once it's hit a stop loss or
Yeah, or I'd literally
you've given
leave
the
it
reason
running.
X.
With a
Yeah.
locked in profit, I'd leave it running. Lock
Okay.
in the profit, 50 pips behind it, and let it fall. You can manage that kind of thing from your phone. And Mark there writes, thanks James for the reminder. Just hit my hard target and continuing to trade. That's the charts off now. Well done, Mark. That's the right thing to do. Hit your target, walk away. And then that's, for me, that's the difference between a professional and an amateur. How many times in our group have we had someone, oh, I'd made so much this morning. There's one not so long ago. There's one that I've got a picture for. It's going in the Comedy of Errors book, the book 4 that I'm writing. And it said, memo to myself, I was up 50 pips on this trade, 50 pips on that trade, and 35 pips on the other trade. And I took 5, 5, and 2. Memo to me, TTFM, take the freaking money. It's got to go in the Comedy of Errors bloopers book. Why didn't you take the money? There's no way our indicators, which obviously they do wipe the floor with this, there's no way they let it pull back that far. There's no way you're up 50 pips and you give away 45 of them before our indicator tells you this trade is over. There's no way there was no divergence telling you about the 45 pip pullback. Wherever you use, whether you use the line or the histogram, higher highs, lower highs on the line. We knew this pullback was coming. That's it. Exactly. It would long since have hit the right triggers, Dave. It would have. We would have been told long since. On the 3 minute, higher highs, lower highs on the histogram, and we've got higher highs, lower highs, divergence within the indicator on the 3 minute, suggesting that this pullback from all the way up here around 580 is going to be significant. Oh, look, chaps, there's like a 50 pip pullback as at now off of divergence within the indicator. And all we really got to do is, to see, one has only to look. To hear, one has only to listen. And I believe quite firmly that the chart is speaking to us all day. Sometimes it whispers, and sometimes it yells, hey look at me. I'm outside the bands, me. And did you realize there was divergence within the indicator on the higher time frame? Have we rejected the line? Probably on some or other time frame we've rejected the line. Yes, quite probably. Absolutely. There you go. There's an S2 over here. We've no doubt there's a big round number up there, 12.6. We didn't make it to the big round number. We've rejected several things up there. Yes, indeed we have. So then there's a signal. That's our whole basis, isn't it? Divergence, rejection of a line, signal. DRS, divergence, rejection, signal. Mirror, signal, maneuver. Stop, look, listen. We are taught those three things in different forms our whole life over. And if we would only stop and listen, smell the coffee, smell the roses, see the picture right there before us, we could take full advantage of that time and time again. Now, I do. If you've seen my latest social media post there, I remember last week I showed, or a couple of weeks ago, I did a couple called Scaling and Trailing, where I went in again, and I started moving the stop losses up one after the other. So it's like a little ladder effect. You know that game where you put your hand down and your kid puts her hand on top of yours, you pull yours out and put it on top of hers. Well, that's what we're doing with the stop losses. I did it today with the take profits, and I called it what is it, Chase Me. Who remembers that comedian that used to say chase me? I thought he was funny. He was, a camp fella that came on. It was funny. It was really funny. I found it funny. And so that's the game. That's where the game comes from. We have a limit order. We're in a cell. We put a limit order in and we've sold it again. And so there's 3 cells and we take the top limit order and move it to the bottom. Now there's a new top one. We move it to the bottom. We move to the bottom. And we just keep dragging the top one down to the bottom because we know these platforms are designed to fill orders. So we give it some orders to fill, and then we keep pulling the rug from under its feet. Come and catch me, catch me, catch me. And then it decides, well, I can't go below that line. Alrighty, so we close them all anyway. But if you look at that, I'm happy to tell you, making that video took me, a minute and a half, minute and 50 seconds. The whole trade wasn't 4 minutes, because you all know I don't work on a Monday. But I had reason to be on and looking at charts this morning for one member of our group. And just our meeting ended and I looked at something and I thought, ooh, look at that. Well, it would be morally wrong not to, wouldn't it? I mean, it's right there. I'm here. I got nowhere else to be. Oh, go on then. Click. Ooh, I look again. Click. And another one. Click. So 3 entries, and then I started moving. You got to watch the take profit on the video and you'll see what I mean. I'm moving the take profit. Not by much, but I did a little bit more after I shut down the recording because I thought, distraction, James, you're not focused when you're doing this. And you all know I don't like the level of distraction that gets me when I'm trading. So I liked to trade focused. Notwithstanding that was Monday. I don't usually make anything on a Monday because I don't usually do anything. So for me, that was all day a reason to TTFM, shut down, walk away. And that's exactly what I did. I've put it on LinkedIn and Facebook, lads. It's in both of those places. Where on our Realtor Facebook page, and it's on the Prosperity Facebook page, and on my LinkedIn as well. Little video. It's less than 2 minutes long, Mark, and I did it on my MT5 account. So it's basically the MT5. I've only used the numbers. I haven't because it showed the strategy and stuff. And you know me I'm very, very nervous about having our major strategies copied by those people who would sell them for ridiculous sums of money, and I don't think that's very ethical of them. But those places exist. So I'm overly careful and overly protective of our stuff there. But that's where it is, Mark. If you need a copy of it, I'll show you it. No worries. That's it. I thought it was quite philosophical, that. Trading's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. I was very lucky that the place we went to, we'd gone and booked this all-inclusive thing, and they said it includes 3 drinks, 3, not free, 3. As in 1, 2, 3. And I thought that's great because I'm not, I've got the baby with me. I'm not planning on going mad here or anything. But then I asked for a drink for Kasia. She wanted a gin and tonic, and the lady started pouring gin and looked at Kasia and said, "When will I stop?" And she just kept pouring gin, and I nudged Kasia. She's waiting for that. Oh, stop. Bloody hell, it was half a bottle of gin, I think. And they did the same thing to me. I asked for the Jack Daniels. They said, it's not included in your in your all-inclusive thing. I said, that's fine, I'm happy to pay for it. And he said, it's €5. I said, well, give me a double then. I thought, don't assume for a moment that just because I'm on all-inclusive I ain't got any money. And I said, there's a tip for you. And I stuck €5 in the jar. And literally, she poured me a half a bottle of bloody whiskey. I thought, oh my word, I got to get through that. Now, of course, it's me, so I did. But it wasn't the sensible thing to do, and I didn't have another one after it. And that's my point. We can overtrade. We can be very easily tempted into overtrading with this all-you-can-eat buffet that is, trading from midnight to 9 p.m. Literally 21 plus hours per day. We can trade the charts, and there's only a short gap because the sun is over a big ocean and there's nothing in there. There's nobody in there pushing buttons. That's the reality. Exactly, yeah, all you can lose. But that's my point. Generally, Dave, you'll only lose it if you overdo it. That's the reality. If you overtrade, if you don't wait for the right stuff, let's say you get to the all-you-can-eat buffet and you look at it and you think, well, hang on, that all looks a bit scabby. Maybe you arrived late. The dining hours, sir, are for breakfast from 8 till 11, and you arrive at 10:30 and it's looking a bit sort of scabby. So you look at the chef behind the thing and you say, they look a bit stale, mate. Hang on, sir, I'll prefer you something fresh. Well, thank you very much. So you wait for the something fresh, as in a 1 and a 3 minute crossing together following divergence and rejection of a line, and there you go, fresh on your plate, exactly what you were waiting for. But you have to wait for it. Thanks, Janelle. Love that way of explaining the market. Nothing like getting sick on vacation. Exactly, yeah. Well, overeat, overdrink, overtrade, and that's the bus you're getting on. That's the reality. That's the bus you're getting on. And then we saw them round the pool afterwards. Some of the guys, I was a bit disappointed. Take this how you like. I grew up in Liverpool. There were a few people from Liverpool, and I'm always embarrassed by Liverpool people. Some of them have no bloody idea how to behave when they're away on holiday. They overate, they overdrank, and then they sit by the pool and go bright red and burn. And I thought, well, yeah, there you go, eager. You passed out now in the sun, haven't you? There's your holiday ruined. Now, that's exactly the same as saying, I'm taking this sell because it's a hopper combo. I'm going to hold it. No, it's going to go. It's going to go. I know it's going to drop 3,500 pips, so I'm holding it. I'm going to hold it. No, I'm still holding it. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to fall off the planet any minute. It's going to fall off the planet. Oh, my word. All my money's gone. That's that view. That's that falling asleep in the sunshine because you overate and overdrank. You've got to pay attention to what there is right there before your eyes. Be it driving, trading, eating, drinking, it doesn't matter. You be mindful of what it is that's going on around you, and you will never find yourself in bother. You've all been with me on how many live webinars now? Some of you, let me just scroll down. Mark, God, it's a bloody long time, isn't it, Mark? Mark, how many years is it? Mike, I think you might be one. Martin, Mark, there you go. Karen, you guys have been on with me for how long? When on a session did you see the market handing me my arse on a silver plate? Doesn't happen, does it? 4+ years, says Mark. There you go, 4+ years. Did I ever have my butt handed to me on a silver plate by the market? Was I ever seriously wrong? We were often very bored, weren't we? Who can cast their mind back to Thursday? Thursday's 2 p.m. session. 53 bloody minutes from 2 p.m. till 2:53. We sat, we waited, we twiddled bloody thumbs. We never took a single trade because we were waiting for the buy. At 2:53, we got our buy, and she hitched up her skirt and she pissed off to our target, didn't she? 80 pips. 60, 70, 80 people banked around those levels, except that loo ball that was selling the choppy market earlier. I won't name you, but you know who you are, and you know we talked about it on the day. You were selling the chop, you were scalping the chop. You called it scalping the chop. I thought you were taking big fat chances, and I think you did too. But the long, the majority of us took between 60 and 80 pips off. You got 20. That's because you had that scalper mentality, not the patience Yargu mentality. Let's wait for the right things to all set up and come to us. You know? That's the deal. Yeah, you can stick your thumb out on the motorway and you can watch the guy slobbering on the wheel stick with it, on the steering wheel, I mean, with a big hatchet in his hand. And you can get in that car if you want. Or you can wait until it's been raining and some guy in a shiny Rolls Royce pulls up and says, you look a bit lost. Are you all right? Would you like a lift? In your Rolls Royce? Yeah, mate, please. Is the heated seat, are the seats heated? I'm a bit wet. Certainly, sir. In you get. Would you like to sit in the back? You know, wait for the right car. Wait for the right food on the buffet. Wait for the right entry signal. And if you find yourself unable to wait, sit on your bloody hands. Literally lift up your left leg and slide your left hand under your thigh. Lift up your right leg and slide your right hand under your thigh. And keep them warm right there. Do nothing. Resist the temptation. I did say to someone, it was actually when I went to Liverpool, visited family, and Danny asked me to get him this drink that we'd had some time ago, and I said, "Oh, Danny, lead me not into temptation." And he looked up and he said, "Oh, am I kidding? I know a shortcut. Well, let's go to the bar." And off we went to the bar. But I mean, realistically, I knew I wasn't going to overdo it that night. I didn't get one for me. I was driving. I did get one for him. And oh, look, children, 1, 2 time frames going together. We're in buy hopper mode. It's a hopper, you know, realistically. The problem with this one is the bands are closing in, so it's not cast in stone that it's going to be great. It is nevertheless divergence, higher lows, lower lows, rejection of a line, and a signal on multiple time frames. It's higher lows, slightly lower lows, rejection of a line, and a signal on multiple time frames. So you'd be FOB. Well done, Henrik's in it. Nice one, dude. Your target is these highs up here. You're going for those similar highs. So about 565, 570. But FOB, you would be forbidden to take a loss on this one because the bands are still closing in. And we don't like that. He ain't the right colour over there yet, and we don't like that. What you watching for now? We want the dot to flip. The dot flips, the bands expand, happier days, you can relax a bit more. This is one of them that we mentioned earlier, Dave. Karen's in too. Excellent, Karen. Where you would say, I'll lock in and let it run. It don't look like that to me because of the bands. Alex says, is it okay to take it as the MACD is coming up, or does it have to be crossing? Well, it crossed at signal there, Alex. That's the hopper, that's the signal. It was okay to take it. It's not now. You're late now. You're 1, 2, 3, like 3.5 minutes late. That was the signal right there. Oh, on the 3 minute. Yeah, we were good. Look, he's got 40 seconds left, which means he's been open for 220. Halfway through him, so 220 plus 130 is 3 minutes 50 seconds. Well, 1, 2, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. There you go. For me, and we were looking at it at the time, as at then, we were looking at it and it was the right thing, wasn't it? It was 2 time frames going together. What we'd be looking at now is a bit of a high test bar, indecision with the open and the close together there, some indecision. We'd be looking for a MACD scalper pattern. The bands are expanding. So technically, you should still be in this, still with an FOB. You know, I know what you're looking at, and I know the indicator is still green, so you're still safe. If we go below the yellow line, that would be close enough and reason to pull the plug, but still profit. For now, you'd still be in, and you're looking for about another 15 pips off of that one. Sound fair? The 3 minute, to me, Alex, it was all day correct. We did the timing, we looked at it as it broke up above. See the way red went green, price closed above, they were crossing, yellow crossed green. It's, you know, it's still in buy hopper mode. It's good to go. This one was a good, clear signal. Divergence ahead of it, rejection of a line ahead of it, signal. No complaints, all good. And bear in mind, this is only like the dynamic edge, the DT2, the DWL3. It's, you know, whatever name you know it by. It's origins. It's where things began, the double cross, the old double cross that we've made free for everybody, if you can find it on the internet. Like, I'll apologise for my throat. I'll also apologise here now, Karen. It's my birthday this coming up very, very soon. So this Wednesday is a little bit close to my birthday, and my missus wants to do some nice stuff with me this week. So the all day this Wednesday has to be put back to next week as a minimum. But if you can't be there then maybe we'll push it back another week. We'll do one on a Wednesday in September anyway. So there you go. That message goes to everybody. There is a planned Wednesday all dayer for everybody, and I wrote in the group there, and I'm wide open suggestions. What market or markets would you like to trade on the all day session? We'll be going from about 8:30 a.m. Thomas, usually till about 3:30. It's a good day. We've yet to have a day where we lost any pips on the day, like, ever. I mean, since 2014, we've been doing these sessions. We talk through the reasons we're going in, the reasons we're staying in or getting out, exactly the way we said this one, excuse me, was valid. But we'd need to be finger on button with it. There's no way we would have taken less than 5 pips on it. As at now, we'd be looking at saying it's a minimum 10 pipper, but we're still looking up here for about 25 or 30 pips for now. Hope to hop a few gates. A nice one, Henrik. That would be good. That's the deal. That's how we do the all-day stuff, Thomas. I think you've been on them before anyway. Now, the PSAR has flipped on the 3-minute, but it's way inside the bands, and the bands are level or closing in. I like his angle. I don't like his angle. He's starting to level off. So we're probably sort of, looking to exit that one on a break below the yellow line there. Not on an all-day session yet. All right, Thomas. Well, some Wednesday in September, we're going to do one. Okay? Happy campers. Questions, as always, comments, thoughts, feedback. Don't be shy. Do unmute. Do fire away. If we do make this recording public, it is nice for the recording that people hear another voice on here, and I'm just making it up because there's a lot of bull. There's a lot of BS on YouTube and on the internet, and so many people do things and don't share them because, my mate Ian and I, we were looking at one where this guy, he'd had some ridiculous loss on the dollar yen, and it was there on YouTube, and it was gone like 15 minutes later because he'd had a loss. We've put our stuff on YouTube, and it's been there since we put it up because there's not an iShare that I'm embarrassed about. That's not true. Some of those rants I've made that are on YouTube, I'm very, very embarrassed about them. But in fairness, they were, what's the word? They were valid. I had something to say, and it was valid, and the people that got ranted at needed the bloody rant. Thanks, Karen, for the record. The rants, what's that? Exclamation mark! Epic. Yeah. I'm not proud of them, Karen. I'm really not. I've listened back to some of them, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my lord, I should delete that. But then I'd be that guy on the internet that doesn't own up to who he is, and I'd rather be counted for who I am than for who someone thinks I am. You know what I mean? There you go, chaps. As at now, if you've got a target around this top here, you need to be backspacing out that target. Don't edit it yet because you've got the potential for a MACD scalper pattern here. You see that? The minute you see a higher high here, one higher MACD above that one, the minute you see it close there, your target is up around 12.6. Up here at the R1. But we do need this high to be defeated. So basically you see these PSARs up here. When price is level with these PSARs, or as it comes level with some of these ones, that's when you delete that level as your target and you aim for 12.6. And as we beat these levels up here, that would be about 12.590. That's when you want to move to 12.6 up to 12.7. Don't be shy with your targets. Remember, if you haven't seen that video I put up on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff like that, if you haven't seen that yet, have a watch of it. I'm literally taking a target, moving it above the higher target. Another target, higher target, higher target, higher target. Click, drag, drop. It's very, very easy on MT4 and 5. That's the deal. Still in the buy channel, no reason to worry. We're looking for the MACD scalper pattern. We're looking for that dot to go green and for the green line to go above it. And then you've got your confirmation that we're going to breach that high, really. Sound fair? Happy days. You see, this is why we don't get our butts handed to us on silver plates in these sessions. It's it because we exercise extreme patience. We exercise intolerance when it starts to pull back like that. We could fib that. Green, 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 red. We just broke the 61.8. The trade's closed. We only have to look at the value at the bottom, 555. The value at the top, 564. Let's call it 65 for rounding, 10 pips. So 5 pips, or if you like, 560 was the 50%. Below 553, we'd broke the 61.8. It was time to close the trade by the time we did that. And we didn't so much as have to, what was the word, draw the bloody fib, because we can see it. Now, you're on the wrong chart. I wanted you to be over there. Well, we could look at those levels. You see there, the 555 at the bottom, 565 at the top-ish. That gives you a 10-pip fib. When we come down halfway, the 550, what was it? About 58, that would have done you. About there would have been the 61.8 and reason to take the pips. 12 pips, that's cool. Let's have a look at what you could have, would have. 12 pips, look at that. Perfect, Karen. I don't think you could have done much better than that with spreads and stuff. That is what we're talking about. Well done, Karen. I like what you did there. That's what discipline looks like, children. Sometimes you get 12 pips, sometimes you get 20, sometimes you'd only get 5. But sometimes, when two time frames go together, as they did over there at 1743, see, 1743, sometimes you get a little bit more than the cherry and you get a 50 pip runner or more. It happens. And because we don't trade, 19 hours a day, 21 hours a day, we trade in little blocks of 2s and 3 hours so that we don't risk psychological burnout. We are confident, we are relaxed, we are emotionally in control. And just for those who don't know, Karen's a bloody clever woman there. Qualified attorney, very, very clever woman. So she's done exactly the right thing there. Absolutely. Well done, Karen. Hats off to you. Yeah. In fairness, I wasn't in that one, but I didn't want to be distracted in the trading. But as if you watch my social media thingy, you'll know what I mean. I've done mine for today, and I don't normally work on a Monday, so I'm very bloody happy with it all shut down and put away. And yeah, chill, dude. All right, lads, it's 6:40. We've been on for 40 minutes. That's a sensible long recording, I think. I think there's plenty of information in there. I would hope there's plenty of information in there. If nobody has any other questions, I'll probably call it a day, upload the recording. $2,000 is good for a month, let alone a day. I'd say it's all right, Henrik. That's what I'd give it. It's all right. If someone said to me, can you live on $2,000 a month, I think my wife would be the first one to say, how much are you insured for again? So, yeah, let's leave it there. In fairness, she'd be entitled to say that, I say enough fun things about her. I don't mean any of them. I only say them in fun. I did say to someone yesterday that, she's 20 years younger than me. I knew I was going to need a carer at some stage. But I didn't say it like I mean it. I'm in great health and that, you know what I mean? It was just good fun, I promise. Thanks, everybody. Please trade safe, and I'll see you on the live session in the morning. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Good night. Trade safe.